Ariel Helwani in San Diego getting set for Strikeforce Diaz versus Daly alongside the Strikeforce welterweight champion Nick Diaz. And Nick, good to see you again. A lot of people are very excited for this fight. How are you feeling in the days leading up to it?
I'm all right. You know, I wasn't going to do this interview, but they told me I had to. So, you know, I feel good. I'm ready to fight. And I don't know. I don't have much to say, you know.
Something against me? Do you not like me, Nick?
I feel like you instigate fights quite a bit, but, you know, that's...
Fights between the fighters?
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's your job, but where I come from, you know, people like that get slapped.
There seems to be a lot of mutual respect between you and Paul. You know, a lot of people, when this fight was announced, thought there would be some trash talking, but he said very nice things about you, and you seem to have respect for him. Is that the case?
Well, you're the only one that started any talking about this fight. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're the one saying, oh, he says he's gonna, you know, will do this to you and that to you. I was giving an analogy about how I thought the fight might go if it, in my favor, if it did, you know, and then you're saying I made these statements to him, and then he's like, oh, I'll knock Nick Diaz out or something. And all I say now is, like, right, you know, he says he's going to knock me out, but that's all I say is that's the only way he can win. So, you know, there's not much to say. There's no mutual respect. What, you know? He's not talking to I'm not talking to why would I have anything, you know, talk bad about him, you know? I hope he don't hit me with the cheap shot, but I understand, you know, what it feels like to be held down for 3 rounds, and it just don't feel like this guy, you know, this guy is avoiding the fight now, you know what I mean? He's avoiding the fight, and he wins the fight. So the guy who doesn't fight gets to win. So on account of this rules and scoring criteria that we've developed, and we used to have a whole other organization called Pride with different rules, and I think it worked out way more, you know, for exciting fights, and you get to see a lot more technical aspect come out in the fight. You know, you get to see, you know, a guy, you get yellow carded if he holds the guy, so it forces him, you know, okay, to punch the guy. He can't just elbow the guy because he has to create some space to punch, you know. So he can't just hold the guy and cheat with little bumping the guy with little elbows. He has to create an amount of space, you know, away from this guy to punch down on him. That space that he needs to make before he gets yellow carded is the same space I might be trying to make so that I can get my ass back up and fight this guy when he's not trying to fight me. So he should be carded for stalling. And we've got this whole system going on here, and everybody's, you know, bought up the other organization and thrown it away, try to hide it. And it's just wrong, you know. I feel like the Japanese, they kind of knew how the martial arts went and how it should be. And you know, the more technical, you know, martial artist or wrestler or boxer, and the best man's going to win, you know, by these old rules, you know, is the way I feel. I feel like, you know, it favors the more technical boxer and martial artist, you know, and you know, all this UFC and the cage fighting nowadays, you know, it's always been geared towards the wrestler. It's always been geared towards the wrestler. I knew that, and then as soon as I started fighting the UFC, I knew I needed to really, you know, pick it up and start playing that game, you know, and learn how to fight like that. Because I'm winning, you know, I can go out there and do damage and win on damage and lose a fight, but I got to win on this criteria, you know. So, like I won fights on the past and damage in my own mind, in my eyes, in their eyes, but in the judges' eyes, the other guy won. But when I went home, you know, and they went home, they know who really won the fight, you know what I mean? So, but they knew how to win the fight, you know, and they were aiming to go in there and win on those on that scoring criteria. I just, you know, I wasn't up on game, and I should have been, and I just didn't have anybody to tell me, hey, listen, you will lose the fight if you go on bottom in the first round and they start, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not, you don't realize that stuff when you're 18 years old.